but it's also the other capabilities that the platform gives the operators, and then kind of working our way around the business, because there's so many different parts of the organization, the enterprise, that can also leverage the benefits of this type of solution.
Can you share a few examples of what either the enablers or some of the new markets and services that just discussed that have sort of resonated in conversations, either particularly with you or that you've seen the people you're talking to, suddenly their eyes light up and you're going, that's clearly something that they either relate to or they can see massive potential.
Well, campus networks, private 5G, industrial factory automation. It's more so it's as much the applications you can running on it, but it's having that point of presence at the edge that they don't have at the moment, and what they can do with that. And there's still a struggle between, what they can get with, the hyperscalers and what they can do then with our solution. So those conversations are still kind of early and evolving. But they're definitely there in terms of how they can maybe reduce their dependency on the hyperscalers, how we're giving them an alternative to that, how we're unlocking that presence, that asset they have with the far edge, and even sell back to the hyperscalers if you want as well, once they've got that up and running. It's kind of changing that kind of relationship, and that the potential, you kind of change that relationship and their position in the marketplace.
You bring up something that we've been talking a little bit about at Market Metal, is this idea, do the providers have a play in Industry 4.0? Certainly they want to talk a lot about it. Vodafone has more IoT, individual IoT, whatever you want to call it, subs, than I think anyone else in their peer set. But on the flip side, we see Ericsson and Nokia. Nokia has NDAC, which is their kind of cloud-based access solution that's in a box that they're bringing to industry. We see even players like Siemens and Bosch want to get an angle in this and be the robot PLC experts and have their own kind of cloud-based solution, which I'm assuming there's a part of Wind River that gets sold in as part of those as well. So, just sticking to Alex's question more to the provider's perspective, are you excited about, and do you see this as an enabling solution for a Vodafone Business or a Vodafone Enterprise to be able to, take a Wind River integrated solution to utilities, to manufacturing, to emergency services? Or is that a bridge too far at this point in terms of the way you're looking at it?
That would be a bridge too far. And it's not the Wind River they're selling, it's the applications that, containerized microservices, whatever you want to call it, that you're running on that platform that they're selling.
Yeah.
What we do is unlock that presence at the far edge and give them the platform to then run those services. And how deep, into geography you go with that. As I say in a moment, it's still today, you can run a lot of those applications and services from the data center or an edge data center. It's what those new those partners that you described bring then, that need these new the low latency stuff. Once that becomes important, and to deliver those services, then that really kind of opens it up. If that makes sense.
It does. And I realize I'm looking at the time. We're almost at the top of the hour. I just want to make sure, is there anything else we haven't asked you that you wanted to cover in the context of either kind of prefacing or want to kind of get across in this article?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything I want to add. I think the big emphasis is for us at the moment, and indeed with as Wind River, and indeed with the customer, is O-RAN. sometimes the messaging gets muddled up with 5G and, rolling out 5G and so on. But we're not.
Right.
We're rolling out potentially 2G, 4G, 5G.
Yeah. Right.
on a common environment. So I want to make that kind of clear, and how we then address, what the benefits of O-RAN are, and then how we can help the operators address those and deliver that type of solution and the benefits and so on and so forth. I think the enterprise and the kind of the future looking stuff is still too early for us. We have these conversations. It's kind of recognized. I'm maybe talking a little bit too openly in terms of, what the vision is. And I think there is potential once this platform's deployed, mature, if you like, mature in an operator, mature as a technology in terms of other operators to start doing more with it. And I think that's, but like I say, O-RAN at the moment, that's driving it. That stands by itself in terms of the business case, the justification. But like I say, there is upside and other things you can absolutely do with this platform at the moment. But at the moment, platform going forward, at the moment, that's kind of served by, the core or these kind of hyperscalers to give them a presence. But I think there's, definitely something, for the operators to think about going forward and how can they kind of exploit this asset once it's in place.
So the last question I had, and this is more curiosity, it's not so much for the article. Obviously, we're spending a lot of time covering the TechCo-NetCo split at Vodafone and Repepi's organization, where Nadia lives, even Yago, what's his last name? The guy, some of the guys driving the O-RAN. But then you have Petty and this kind of IT shop. He's taking a lot of the GDC stuff, like the data center, some of these tech shared services. Just curious, what's that relationship like? Are you serving kind of two internal clients when you talk about the rollout of your solution?
It's an evolving, it is a challenge. You're quite right to pick up on it because, naturally this sort of technology fits with, first of all, it fits in the core, it fits in the data centers.
Yeah.
Virtualization, VMware and all of this. But the guys that are buying it, if you like, and ultimately delivering it are the radio teams.
Yeah.
So, the operators are responding, and we've seen it not just with Vodafone, but other operators, and they're building new teams or expanding their radio team, and kind of devolving themselves of the core because it's the radio applications and the radio performance and the network that is driving this adoption, and
right.
it's the natural place for them. And of course, but all these guys are, historically used to just dealing with Ericsson and, picking up the phone to one vendor or maybe
right.
two. And, so they've got that challenge now with, like, say, putting it all together. So, but
yeah, but I have to think there's a certification aspect with the Petty shop. I think who runs GDC now? Marighetti, right? I mean, so there must be you have to go through the kind of IT verification process, I'm assuming. And again, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but yeah, it's opaque to us. And I'm just curious. You sounds like you have the same opaqueness in the relationship side.
Well, no, it is, I say they're changing their organizations. So we are engaging more and more directly with the radio teams or the expanded radio team. But yes, then you've got, security is a good example of something that will still exist in the core at that kind of higher level that is addressed end to end, and you still find yourself engaging with those. Even the management and orchestration, it still seems to be driven from the core, and those IT teams. But yeah, that kind of IT, radio kind of core split is, or organizations, still exist, but, they're growing they're growing the radio to address the Open RAN.
Yeah. So, I apologize, Alex. I hope I didn't interrupt you. You have any other last questions? Because again, I want to be sensitive to your time. So
not at all. Andrew, have you got time for a last question?
One more question. Yes. I'm late for a Vodafone call, but it's I'm trying to get.
Okay, this is very much on you. A bit of a wild card. How are you finding Wind River compared to where you've worked before? Because I know you've got an engineering background. You've been with traditional telco. You've been in IT convergence.